This is a presentation about different types of business formation. In this presentation, we'll be talking about sole proprietorships, partnerships, corporations, LLCs, and an example business scenario. Sole proprietorships are where there's only one owner, that one owner runs and operates the whole business. The pros of sole proprietorships come that they're easy to create because you can just start selling something. There's your sole proprietorship. You get full control over the company. You're not disagreeing with anyone. You're not working with anyone. You get full control. So it runs a lot smoother, hopefully that way. You get to keep all the profits because other than maybe paying any employees you might have, all the profits are yours. And then the tax application is that they're not levied on the earnings of the taxes are not levied on the earnings of the business. They're only levied on the owner as income. Now, the cons of sole proprietorships are that you have limited resources, you are limited to whatever you can afford. Unlimited liability basically means that any business debts get rolled onto the owner, and any assets that the owner has, they get used as collateral. So you can lose your house, your car for the business not doing well. There's also a really heavy workload because the entire burden of this business is completely on the owner, and it can be emotionally and physically taxing. And then there's just the lack of permanence because if you the owner die, then the company dies with you. A partnership is a form of business where there are two or more owners in a for-profit business. There are three types: general, limited, and limited liability. Now, general, every partner takes on an active role. They're also investing it, but they're also limitlessly liable for company debts. Limited partnerships are where at least one general partner is running the company and at least one is only investing in that company. So all they're liable for is whatever money they've invested. And limited liability kind of takes the limited one but gives you a little more freedom and protection on you basically are liable for however much you put into the company. Now, the pros of partnerships, you get to pool resources between the owners. There are shared responsibilities, so the burden is not on you only. And if your partners have special skills, use those as much as you want. They're pretty easy to form. You literally just need to have conversation. You should make a contract, but it's as easy as an oral agreement. And again, the taxes are not levied on the business, they're only levied on the owners as income. Cons of partnerships are your shared liability. If your partner incurs any debts on the business, then they become your debts and your risks. The potential conflicts are basically that you can disagree with your partner and that might lead to the business not doing as well. It'll become harder to exit the partnership if you want to sell your half, and your partner can definitely make your life harder with that. And then you just don't get as much control over the company, which if you want your company to be yours only, then it's not really a great thing. Corporations are a legal entity and they're completely separate from the owner and shareholders, mainly because they give you protections. Like a C corp, there are limited liability protections, which means that you're not as liable, but it is subject to double taxation, which means that the corporation pays taxes and the shareholders pay taxes on whatever they receive from the corporation. An S corp kind of allows you to pass business income through your individual tax return, and that means you don't have to double pay taxes. A B Corp is kind of newer and it's a for-profit company, but they're also working for the community. So there's a triple bottom line, as it says over there, considering social impact, environmental sustainability, and making sure you make a profit. And then finally, nonprofit organizations or NPOs, you are basically the owners are working for the community. Any profit they get doesn't go to shareholders, it goes back reinvested into the company to work towards their goal or mission. Pros of corporations: you get limited liability. Again, you're protected from debts. Perpetual existence means even if the ownership changes, the corporation continues to run. You get tax deductions and credits, which really help. And then fundraising is a lot easier because you can sell stocks and bonds of the company. The cons of corporations are that it's pretty difficult to create by itself. You, like I said, you get the potential of double taxation, which the corporation pays and the shareholder pays. You don't get as much control as a shareholder because there are usually company executives who are running it, and then there are also a lot of legal regulations on corporations. An LLC kind of takes the best of corporations and partnerships, puts them into one model. So you get the tax pass through of only paying as income. They're pretty simple to manage. There's flexible ownership. The cons are, like corporations, they're pretty hard to form. There's a franchise tax placed on them, and they are treated as foreign nations in other states. Now, for your business scenario, I would recommend an LLC. The scenario was a client with $100,000 wanting minimal liability and good tax flexibility. An LLC gives you limited liability. You get to pass through the taxation, which means that you only pay based on your income from the company, and you get quite a bit of flexibility from it being like a partnership. Here are my sources for the presentation. I used Investopedia to learn about limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships, MX to learn about partnerships, and Reuters to learn about corporations. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed watching this presentation.